Hey folks, can you move your chairs up a bit, even if you're in this spot right here? Come on. You don't want to be Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is a great turnout this afternoon. It is 3:01, so we're going to kick this off. Welcome to the Ludlow Village Council monthly board meeting. There were agendas on the end of the table if you guys want to share. Have a look at what we're up to today, what our plan is for today. My name is Jeff Lang. I'm the president of the Ludlow Village Council. And we welcome you all. We will start with some of our. Normally we start out with stakeholder reports from some of our community partners. I don't see Jameson in the room today, and I don't see Diana. And then throw you in the fire if you're here, Jeremy. I haven't met you. Is Jeremy from DCD here?
No, he's not here.
He's not here.
No.
Is anybody from the county here?
I'm here.
So we will. I was hoping to give you and Deputy Chief a chance to see what other people do as their stakeholder report.
I'll just fumble through it.
So you're gonna just have to fumble through. So we will start with say your name, last name,
Pernsteiner.
Pernsteiner. Andy Pernsteiner from the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office. I'm gonna pass the mic up to you up there, just so we get. We could get it on our video. The room is small enough, but it's mostly for the video.
I'll try to make sure it doesn't fall off there. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Andy Pernsteiner. I'm the elected sheriff here in Jefferson County. Thanks for the invitation. I appreciate the invitation to be able to come down and chat with everybody and let you know what's going on at the sheriff's office and vice versa. If you got any issues in your community, you can let myself know, or Under Sheriff Brandon Shiguski. So if you have any questions, you can obviously call me anytime. I just basically pulled up a couple of stats. I wasn't really sure what y'all wanted, so I figured I just had to pull up some statistical data. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that works off of statistical data. It was kind of interesting. Basically, about 10% of all of our calls for service that we do in the county are in the Port Ludlow area. So when I say Port Ludlow area, that's Highway 104, Highway 19, you know, that big area, basically anything that uses the same zip code as Port Ludlow, which is a lot bigger than Port Ludlow proper, obviously. But, so for last year, let's see here. So for last year, we fielded about 14,500 calls for service across the county at the sheriff's office. That's everything from a traffic stop to someone calling something in to investigating a criminal activity. There's every call for service that we respond to. So of those, about 1,400 of them were here in the Port Ludlow area. So like I said, it's anything from traffic stops. And the majority of those 1,400 calls are traffic stops. I know we all have speeding complaints on Paradise Bay Road. I've talked to quite a few residents and trying to work with them and trying to slow some of the traffic down on Paradise Bay Road, especially in the Paradise Bay area. I mean, I've worked with the sheriff's office for 28 years now, and that's been an issue 28 years ago. It's still an issue today. It's just amazing how some things never really change over time, you know, but we definitely are still working on that. What I'd like to do is I'd like to get the signs, the digital display signs, like permanently affixed. The problem is just trying to come up with the money to be able to do that. But that's something I definitely want to work with you on to try and figure out how we can do that in the Port Ludlow area. So this year so far, we've funded, or we've had about 1,400 calls for service across the county, and about 155 of them have been in the Port Ludlow area. So, and I want to talk about a short little tale that. Let's see, this was on the 30th of, actually the 27th of January. There was a call for service at the Port Ludlow Golf Course where someone had fallen into a pond there. And they were actually up to their armpits in water. It was about 5:30 at night, 37 degrees outside, and she was submerged up to her armpits in water. She was able to call 911. A great volunteer who's in the room. Where are you at? There he is in the back. Help one of my deputies find her, and were able to get her out of the water. But the deputy basically had to jump into the water, because what happened, I guess, is she was out golfing and her golf ball went near the water, so she was using her pole, or her, I'm not a golfer, the golf club, the golf pole, to get the ball. Well, she fell in the water, and then she thought, well, if I could get to this log, I could probably get out. Well, as she's getting to the log, she's sinking deeper into the mud. It's like the old TV shows, the quicksand, you know, type thing, and pretty soon she's stuck in the mud, and she can't get out. So the deputy tried to pull her out, but he couldn't, so he had to jump in that much water and to get her out. So it was a really good story. Got her out, got her in the car, got her warmed up. We had an ambulance show up, check her out, and give her a ride home. It was all good. It turned out well. But it's kind of a good story about how we work, you know, with our partners and the fire service and the community to do more than just go arrest people. You know, we're out there to help the community.
Did you get the golf ball?
I think a golf ball didn't make it. But that's about all I had. I just want to take up a couple of minutes. And if anybody's got any questions for me, I'll leave some business cards. You can email me, call me, or ask questions now if we have time.
Quick question, those digital display signs, what are those run per unit?
They're about
$4,000.
$4,000 per sign. Yeah, I know there's been some communities, I've talked to the public works person who's in charge of doing that, and they said there was some issue with, like, on county roads having private funds to fund them. But I know in some communities, the communities have purchased them. So it is possible to do that. So, but I would like to be able to work in partnership and figure out a grant system or something to be able to get those up. Because it seems like once we move those digital signs around, and most people are just aren't paying attention, right? You're daydreaming, it's a sunny day, and then you see that flashing light, it's like, oh no, and you slow down. I mean, it's just, we're all human. But it's impossible for law enforcement to be everywhere stopping and ticketing everybody too. And I think most of it's just, you know, driver error. They need to be reminded. So, great. Any questions for me? All right, Chief Brummel.
Jeff, Jeremy Williams is here now.
Okay, we'll go to Deputy Chief Brummel, and then we'll put Jeremy in the hot seat.
afternoon. I'm Pete Brummel, Deputy Fire Chief of East Jefferson Fire Rescue. I did not come with statistical data, but I just came to, in place of Chief Black, who is out of the country. His son got married this past weekend in Budapest. So he is making his way back from the other side of the world. He'll be back in town on Monday. And so I'm here just to provide you an oversight of what we've done in 2025 and what we're looking for in the future for 2026. I'll start off with our call volume was approximately about 5,800 calls, I believe, for service last year. And not all of those are fire, so I will throw some stats in there. About 80 to 85% of our call volume is EMS aid calls. And then another probably 3 to 4% fires, and the rest are service calls for fire alarms or smoke detector battery changes, things like that. One program that you may be familiar with, but it's our CARES program, our community response program. It has a behavioral therapist as well as a firefighter paramedic. And they respond to what we call low acuity calls for service, people that need help getting up, people that need some type of intervention and assistance, and that's our resource that is funded partially by the fire department and also the Olympic Connect organization. And so it's been very, very successful. There is a chart we have, the trajectory from last year or 2 years ago to where we are today is literally in a vertical ascent. There's so many calls for service. It's tough for our 2 personnel that work Monday through Thursday to keep up. They're doing a great job, but we're also training additional personnel in our department to fill in so our paramedic, Jeff, can take a vacation, or Aaron, our behavioral health specialist, can take a vacation day once or twice a year. We are, for 2026, probably in July, August, you'll see 2 brand new fire engines driving down the street. We went out for, we basically went out for a loan. We financed 2 fire engines, brand new, and the turnaround time for construction from design to finish is about 2.5 to 3 years. So we sort of fast-tracked this. It's similar to the types of fire engines we have, but our average age of our fleet is about 20 years old. So we have a fire engine that's 35 years old, and we have other engines that are just around the 20 mark, if not a little bit more. So we take care of our equipment, but we're always looking to find ways to get new apparatus. So we're getting 2 new fire engines, another paramedic unit, and another brush truck. So you'll see some new vehicles driving around, hopefully by mid to late this year. And we are hiring, right now we had 1 person retire out and leave the department, so we put out an application request for 1 firefighter position, and we got 78 applications for 1 position. We narrowed that down over the past 2 days to 16 candidates, and when Chief Black shows up Monday morning, he gets to pick one of them. So, yes, all qualified candidates, great backgrounds. Some are candidates that we have what's called a firefighter in training program, where basically personnel volunteers can join the fire department and volunteer and work with our crews and be part of the crew, and we teach them the skills needed. And so several of those personnel are the top candidate list as well. So it's nice to invest in our community and see the personnel that we train actually test for a career position, and that's great. So, yes, go ahead.
Are all the candidates Jefferson County or Washington State, Western?
I don't know exactly where they're from. I recognize some names. I'll say generally in the region, in the county, Kitsap, Clallam, Jefferson County. We do have 1 candidate from Seattle Fire Department that wants to transfer over, that speaks volume for who we are as an agency and the support we get from the community where we have that many applicants for one position. So very proud of it, and we appreciate the support from our community citizens. Absolutely, thank you. So we have in our department called Community Risk Reduction, and Robert Wittenberg is our Community Risk Reduction Specialist. And we offer a smoke detector battery change or installation, as well as additional resources like a wildfire assessment plan for your residents. And if you schedule through the front office, we can come out and install smoke detectors in your residence, as well as, and I'll probably get yelled at after I say this, but because there's such a backlog, but our wildland fire assessment program, we will come out to your residence and advise you and give you suggestions for your landscaping and your proximity to the eaves of your house and close proximity to your structures to reduce your wildfire threat exposure. It takes about 2 hours, and right now there's a backlog of about 106 residences, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do it. Please contact our front office during business hours, and we'll get you on the list, and as soon as we get going again here with some additional personnel and some volunteers, it's volunteer based as well, we'll get out there and give you a hand. So, thanks for bringing that up.
Chief, could I ask something?
Yes, go ahead, Commissioner.
I'm Jeannie Price, I'm your representative to the fire district. District 1 here in Fort Ludlow. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was just waiting, but go ahead.
Oh, thank you for waiting. So I did this, the community risk assessment of my home, and I was a little bit concerned that, there was some brush removal and things that putting rocks in around the border of my house, things that cost a little bit of money that I couldn't do all at once. So then I was wondering, now is this report going to go to my insurance company? In other words, my insurance company going to know that, she did not get those trees trimmed yet. And it is just between you and Robert or somebody on his staff. And so you do what you can, just like you get an elephant. How do you eat an elephant? A little bite at a time. You do what you can to get up to the suggested status that Robert recommended. But it's a wonderful program. So, thank you.
So do you want to say anything about the levy lid?
I think just because I'm on duty in uniform, I'll just say that we look forward to a positive outcome, and we appreciate the support of the community.
I guess I'll add to it then, because I'm not on duty. If you sleep better at night like I do, knowing that you've got a well-run, well-funded fire department around you, EMS, remember to get your ballot in there. Right? Tuesday's the day. So
Thank you very much. Any other questions?
A big thank you, Joe.
I want to say one thing, our friend here is gonna retire this summer. So he's gonna be leaving us at some point here, coming up soon. After a long fire service career, so.
30 years, and July 31st will be my last day. So,
okay, we will. I saw Diana sneak in. We'll put her up next. If you're okay, are you ready to go? So this is Diana Sneal from, she's president of Fort Ludlow Associates, for those who don't know. And mostly for the ANC.
Great, hello everyone. Just some things happening in Fort Ludlow. Hopefully everyone, excuse me, I also have a sinus infection. Hopefully everyone received or has turned in their survey for the backflow devices, or what do you have in your home, like irrigation or a hot tub or any of those kinds of things. If you haven't turned in your survey, It's really important. The UTC is requiring us to have that survey 100% of the people. If we don't have it, we're gonna call you and come see you and do those kinds of things, because otherwise the tariff says we turn off your water, and we don't wanna do that. We wanna get all the surveys back. So we individually mailed every person who had not returned a survey. So if you got that in the mail, please bring that to the office or mail it, or just make sure you get it. We're also following up in Aussie billing. You will see the annual testing reminder that's due by June 1st for the backflow testing. And that letter shows, I think there's 5 different people who are doing that testing, 3 to 5. And so if you need to have that testing done, you can just call one of those people. Feel free to call someone else, but those are the people that say they will support Port Ludlow and come out and do the testing. And then we're still working on the Falls Terrace land plan. The reason why that's important to the community is that's the Falls Terrace access, or the Ludlow Falls access. And we have met with Larry, Scott from Trails, and we have talked about, what does that trail look like? Maybe it's just got a little different entrance. Where does the interpretive trail go? And so we have some ideas, and we've made some adjustments to the plan based on talking to Larry. And we'll continue, we're waiting to see it back. And then we'll continue to work on that. As soon as I have something a little more final, I'll share it here, and everyone can get a look at it. Just talking about events around the area. The Inn is going to have a wine event every month this year, which is great. Tonight's their first wine dinner, and it's sold out, which is really good. But then every second Tuesday of the month, there's a wine tasting, and if you buy it, your tickets online, it's $10. And there's a cheese and charcuterie tray, as well as you get 4 to 5 tastings. So if you're interested in wine. There is a big game watch party. I'm not supposed to say those other words. But there's a big game watch party that's in the Olympic Room at the Inn. If you're interested in watching on a big TV, there's no fee to come. You can just come watch the game. If you want food or anything, you can order that. They'll have a special menu as well as the regular menu. For Valentine's weekend, we're doing a special 3-course meal, and it's happening Friday and Saturday. And then if you just want to get out, every day of the week we have happy hour 2 to 5 p.m. Excuse me. And then we're also doing seafood Sundays. So you get a 3-course meal for $39, and basically some starter, a main meal with vegetable, and a dessert. And then one of the groups that comes to the inn is a knitter group, and they're known like all over the world. They're really cool. But when they come, they have a community market. So they sell yarn, and they sell things that they've made, and other things there. And that's happening Saturday, March 7th at the inn. So if you have any interest in the art or in kind of knitting, I think that's really a cool thing, and they've had really good turnout. And we just want to make sure the community knows they're invited.
What time is it?
That is, they don't give me a time, but I'll make sure and put it on the calendar for PRDC. I did put February and March things there, but I'll get this as soon as I have a date, or a time. And questions?
So, back to the cross-connection survey, we have a link to your webpage on our webpage, but it goes straight to the survey. And it's 20 seconds, guys. I mean, it's not a long survey.
No,
So
it's easy.
get it in.
Thank you. Okay, excellent.
Thanks, Dan. Okay, I think that gets us to Jeremy Williamy. Am I pronouncing your last name right?
Yeah, there you go.
So Greg Brotherton couldn't be here today and asked Jeremy to stand in. He is the director of the Jefferson County Department of Community Development. And he's going to give us an update.
Great, very good to be here. I also brought with me Greg Ballard as our Development Code Administrator at DCD. So he's here as well, depending on what questions you all have for us. So I'll go through an initial list. Commissioner Brotherton sends his regrets, but we're really happy to be here with you today. I can run through a couple items that he flagged for us up front, but then of course, if there's other questions that any of you have, feel free to let us know. I think the first thing to start out with, everyone knows some of the budget constraints that the county is working with. And so I guess want to start with a little bit of a call for grace for the Department of Community Development right now. We're down now about kind of 25% of our staff from last year, kind of 3.5 staff members that departed during the budget discussions last year, one of whom was David Wayne Johnson, who was the principal planner and your key point of contact. So there's that, and then we've had another departure since. So we're working internally to reorient and reorganize so we can continue to be responsive to the community and all of our stakeholders. So just wanted to share that up front. And then the other thing to say, that's why Greg and I are both here. With David Wayne's departure, we want you to know that in addition to that kind of general planning email is a great place to go in because we're using a planner of the day model to make sure that we're always on top of requests that come in. But obviously, I'll leave my card, Greg will leave his cards, and you can always contact either one of us if you have questions as well. So we just want to make sure that you know, even as we're navigating these staffing changes, that you've got us, we're available, and we're here to respond to anything. I know that there were questions about kind of the pending cell tower application. I bring Greg for all the hard questions so he can talk a little bit about where that is. And then the other one was just like the continued monitoring of forest practice applications, which is something that we're both logged in and registered for, and we'll be continuing to track and make sure that we're on top of that as those come in. So maybe with that, I'll hand it over to Greg to just talk a little bit about the cell tower and where that is in the process, just so you know what to expect and kind of what the next steps are in the review of that.
I'm Greg Ballard, and I'm the Development Code Administrator. I've been a planner for about 36 years, 5 different counties, so I know a trick or two about planning. For this cell tower, it's a zone case that's 2025-11, and so I don't know if you guys have ever used our customer service portal, but it's pretty awesome. If you go in there, you can see all the documents related to this case. You can see their application, the photo simulations, how they answer the questions, how they think they meet the conditional use permit criteria. I'm not sure if you're familiar with our process, but typically what happens is you get an application, you send a notice of application, and that lets people kind of know about the project. After that, we do a notice of public hearing, which is where we send notice to everybody within 300 feet again. We post the property, we put an ad in the paper, and we tell people there's going to be a public hearing at this time and this date. You're welcome to submit comments. If you submit comments, you become a party of record. Everyone who submits comments, they get entered into the record, and then at the end of the process, we'll send you a copy of the notice of decision. I've done about 150 of these public hearings before hearing examiners, so it's not as complicated of a process as some people think it is. For this one here, there's going to be the issue of like RF frequency, and people are going to say, well, I'm afraid of radiation, and I think the Telecommunications Act of 1996 kind of precludes the hearing examiner from basically considering those issues because that's been done at a federal level. And so if you guys have issues, it'd be aesthetics or things like that. I've probably done 20 or 30 cell towers, and so they're usually pretty straightforward. They're kind of a public resource, or it's almost like an essential public facility. And so what they usually do is they'll submit a scatter plot, which shows the existing coverage and then their proposed coverage with the tower. And it's kind of a neat process where they'll have their coverage, and then they'll do a boom or something like that and put a cell tower up there, and then they can test it, and they can show you the before and after. And as you're aware, like, it's important for people to have good cell service. That can include our emergency responders and just the general citizenry. One of the things that we require for a cell tower is you basically have to co-locate if there's any other location. And so typically if there's another cell tower that can provide it, they need to use that. And if there's no other one, then they have to make space available on their cell tower to co-locate. So sometimes there'll be 150, and then there'll be one at like 133 and one at 122. So they'll be, you know, Verizon might get the top spot, AT&T might get the second, and then maybe our sheriff or someone might get another spot.
Why was that area chosen? I mean, every time, all of us, and the fact is, cell towers are toxic. I mean, you can't fake it. And I have to say, we didn't even know about it. Our friend let us know. We weren't notified that there's gonna be cell towers. We're up at 43 Pine Drive. We're just a block away from where it's gonna be, and we got no notice. I am very upset with that. I have fibromyalgia, I have a lot of chemical sensitivities, and the fact of having a cell tower there, we also have a farm with bees, and that is a fact, that they are impacted if you buy that. So, I don't know, it's just, you told me just a few minutes ago that there was really not gonna be a discussion. We left, and then we saw friends coming in and came back in to put our 2 bids in. It's shocking, really, that you guys are gonna possibly do that without sending notices out to all of us who will be impacted, not just a few. It's all of us.
Can
That's my opinion.
I jump in for 2? It was me that told you there wasn't gonna be discussion.
No, it's him.
It was him? Because somebody asked me, and I had no idea that this was on the agenda. Okay, that's fine.
I like to discuss anything, and everything's up for discussion. I'm not gonna make the decision on this. I get to make the decisions on type 1 and type 2 decisions. Type 3 decisions go before an independent hearing examiner that will make a decision based on all the information in the record, which will include a DCD staff report that will be available 2 weeks prior to the hearing, along with all the exhibits, and all the testimony and all the comments we receive will be added to that.
But isn't it already a decided deal? Even if we come in and complain, isn't it already a decided deal?
Nobody's made a decision. The hearing examiner is gonna do this de novo. He's gonna take what's in the staff report that we write, and he's gonna look at all the regulations and criteria, and then he's gonna make a recommendation. So sometimes they don't agree with us. I told you that, you know, the RF frequency is not something that typically they're allowed to address, and that's the state, you know, like if you look at the Telecommunications Act, you can bring up any issue you want. This is America, you're allowed to bring up any issue. I'm just telling you from a practical matter, it's not gonna probably, you know, like even if they agree with you, they can't use that as a reason to deny.
That is a real reason.
That was a decision from 30 years ago. 96 was 30 years ago.
I guess if I could just I think that's something that's important here, and the key piece that we wanted to share, because we can take, so we will send and share how you can get onto the customer service portal. The key thing that you want to do is make sure that you go into that case. We'll give you the information for how to do that. Put in your email so that you will continue to get updates on the next stage of the process. There will be an opportunity for public comment around this. But Greg's just kind of outlining what the decision points are that the hearing examiner will be evaluating. And I think the key thing to say as well, it is going to be the hearing examiner that ultimately makes that decision based off of the record and the documentation and the public comments that come in, but it'll be within the parameters that they have for that decision. And so some of those pieces rest with the federal government and the Federal Communications Commission. Others, in terms of the citing, will rest with the hearing examiner in that decision. But what we really wanted to be most clear about is that we haven't gotten to that point of the public hearing yet, so we want to make sure that you're aware, that you're signed up, and that you can have that opportunity to express your opinions on the record so that they can be taken under advisement during that period.
Thank you, and did tell me to do that, and I thank you for doing that, because I definitely will be doing that, along with everybody else that I can get to send in letters.
Jim?
How do we go about opposing cell towers?
Yep, how do we go about that?
So first of all,
Could you repeat the question?
Yeah, I'm sorry, we didn't hear you. How do we go about opposing the cell tower? I thought you just explained that.
I would take one of my cards and send me an email and then basically address. And I'll pass them out to anybody who wants them.
So why was the notification only the people that were within 300 feet of the cell tower when it affects so many people around it? There's a picture of the tree in my front yard walking where the cell tower is. That tree has leaves on it because it's in the middle of the spring. But right now that tree has no leaves. So that cell tower is going to be standing out. It's pretty obvious. Currently, there's no public notice signs at the end of the driveway that accesses this property. And so a lot of people in the Port Ludlow area, up on Pioneer, Fleet Drive, Jefferson, have no idea that this is going in.
Keith, yeah.
I'm one away from one council away from being notified.
Yeah.
The,
That's our neighbor got
And we
notified.
had to
We
find
got
out
nothing.
3 or 4 months later.
Just so you guys know, you can comment all the way up until the end of the public hearing. So there's no deadline to provide comment. If you provide a comment, I think we sent our notice out in November, and we gave a suggested timeline. We'll take comments all the way up to the public hearing.
But Greg, that was in November, and it was only to those homes within 300 feet.
Yeah, and none of us knew about it.
There's no.
Well, the project's not moving anywhere right now. We haven't sent out the next step of the stage.
Which
So-
is what's the next step?
So I explained it already, but we do the notice about, and it just lets people know it. You can check on our website and see the status of cases, or you can see it, see all the documents. And then the next step is we do the notice of public hearing, which we send it to the people within 300 feet, post it on the property, and we put an ad in the paper again.
So this is a few of us. I'm not to mention the negative effects, not to mention that all of our property values are going to just tank.
Yes, they are.
Between
Yes,
2.9 to 20%.
Right, like I was in Clallam for 17 years, and I did this mono fur out there by Dungeness, and people brought up the same issues. And I think it's gonna be a hard thing to make the case that your property values are gonna go down because you have better cell service, or like, for someone like
But the
aesthetics.
cell service is not for Port Ludlow, it's for Matt's. This is not our benefit us. We're in the dead zone from the new tower. It's not gonna benefit our home.
Not to mention the fact that, like, on our property, we've lived there for almost 18 years, we have owls that live in the trees, we have, like, forests that lead to the cemetery behind it.
Yes, the
The tower's
cemetery.
gonna go up right there,
Up to the cemetery.
I mean, it's just like, we have all kinds of wildlife. I mean, it sounds like a jungle out there, this beautiful area, there's all those birds that are in this place.
And that's not on your SEPA study.
That's an environmental thing, things like a negative effect. We have
So
like
that's
5
the-
rays of woodpeckers, we have those California woodpeckers, we have 3 other that are there. They've been out there for at least 18 years.
What happens is we're not even at the stage where we made our final threshold determination. So right now, what we're doing is we're just letting people know about the project, you give us comments.
We just wanted to say something as soon as we possibly can, because it seems like it's happening so fast. and
Yes.
There's nothing we can do to stop
Well,
it.
it's so
Well,
Yeah.
Maybe just a couple of things on that, because I'm hearing, like, in terms of the notice, so just a couple of things. So it was posted and it was also published in the Leader back in November when the application came in. That's step one. So I think what we want to do to make sure that you all have the pathway to provide these comments. And as Greg said, it's still at a stage right now where the public hearing has not been set. It's still in the review process, which is why you haven't received additional notifications beyond that initial notification in November. So the most important thing that you all can do now is through that, either send an email to Greg, send an email to planning at county.jefferson.gov, or go into that customer service portal that we'll share so you have the details, and you can register there to make sure that you're getting all future updates, and you can also use that as a channel to provide your input. So that's the key thing now, is just making sure that you're in the loop to be able to provide those comments through the formal process. And we appreciate all that feedback here, and we understand that this is an important issue for the community. So really, we just want to make sure that you know the pathway through which to submit those comments, and that there will be that public notice coming out when it gets to the next stage of the process.
So I don't, any information that they send to us, I can only get out to you if you have subscribed to our email server list. So go to our webpage, there's a button that says,
To send information to you?
I don't know if they're obligated to, but he's just offered to, and I trust him to do that.
Okay, so
Yeah.
I just want to clarify, because I but I haven't heard anything.
So go to our website, sign up for our e-blast, and I think they detailed the process. I think they understand people want to still have input, it sounds like that avenue exists. And so, I kinda wanna wrap this part of this up, we got a big agenda in front of us still. And I don't know how you all knew this was happening, because we didn't know this was happening. So, this is great turnout, and we appreciate you all being here. But we have a very full agenda,
Are
so.
there any other sites that Verizon is considering? Come on, I mean, they're not gonna.
Public work yards, maintenance yards.
right, I mean, basically, if you go on the line, you'll see a colored map with your existing coverage, and then they'll say, my objective is to provide service to this area. And so, what you can't do with an application is say, well, why don't you go to this area to provide cell service? I mean, if it doesn't provide coverage to the area that they're seeking, then that doesn't meet their objective.
I have a question. I think I read that it is a requirement that you look into potential alternate sources for our places that this could go. Where are you in that process?
Right, when you look at the application and all the information they submitted, they basically did that analysis. It's a very good application if you look at it, is they went through the conditional use permit criteria, and then there's the citing stuff that they provided. And so what's really cool is we have this online portal. We didn't have this until like a year ago. And before then, you couldn't see what was going on. And so now, if you go on the website and you type in the customer service portal, and you type in zone 2025-11, you'll see every single document that we have. So you'll have as much information as I have. And so that's the stuff that we have right now. And then when there's new information, like the staff report and stuff, we'll put that on that website too. So you guys can always check things online, which is this new.
I really appreciate that, but the question is, are you in the process of considering alternate sites? Because there is not an alternate.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap this up. This was not ever intended to be a town hall format for these guys and for the cell tower, and we can set one up if there's interest. Please reach out to me.
This is an emotional charge issue.
It's what it is.
And so, you are here to listen to your community, so we're just saying.
We are also here to
just complete this task.
fulfill
And then
the
we're close. Clearly it's emotionally charged. I trust that our community is going to be hearing that, because we're not here for just because we want to.
And they have been very clear that there's a process for that, and that all this information is available to you all. But this meeting has an agenda that is.
Questions to be asked here, that's all everyone's
Could
coming.
you possibly do a follow-up then, because he's been very clear about what the process is, and we do have a full agenda, and we need to move on.
Okay.
I may go out in the parking lot, we can talk if you want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, these guys aren't trying to hide from you. I'm just saying, this isn't, this isn't.
Good question. Who is he?
You said we're just trying to provide coverage.
Okay, so I'm the county, I'm neutral. I have no skin in this game. All I do is, I get an application, it could be a good application, it could be a horrible application. I have no choice. I've done 1,000 applications. Some applications, we recommend approval. Some applications, we recommend denial. When I tell you that things like the RF thing isn't really allowed under that, I'm just telling you my experience. You're welcome to provide any comment you want. I'm just telling you that if the hearing examiner says, well, we can't consider that RF issue, I'm just giving you my personal experience from doing this.
Okay, so we will put together a town, if you guys are willing, we'll put together an evening town hall meeting in the next 2 weeks where we can just talk about this. Okay, we're not trying to push you guys out the door. I get that this is important and I understand that. But we've got a lot of council business to deal with, which is what these meetings are designed for largely. And if you guys want a town hall meeting, we will facilitate one. I have no issue with that. No issue.
And
And-
I'm busy that day, so I'm sure. No,
I will get with these guys with a couple of possible dates. I'm thinking late afternoon or evening to make it as widely available as possible.
Yes.
By the end of February. Does that work? What's the date?
With lots of chairs.
Well, it'll either be the auditorium here or at the beach club, depending on who's got availability. But yeah, it'll be a big room.
It's like the staffing, because I read that and heard that from you. Does that affect your timeline in any way?
For this particular
Yeah.
issue, I mean, you can actually go on the site, you can see what the timeline is for the next steps and kind of the next action, so we wouldn't see that impacting this directly. I think the key thing just 2 points to end on, because, and we appreciate the time, and really like the key thing that we wanted to do here was make sure that you all knew how to contact us, how to get more information about the process, and then to make sure that all this really valuable input goes into the process at the right phase. Because that's the other thing, we're happy to talk with you, but also that public hearing place that's going to be the point when that really is get formally entered. And I think just the only other thing to say is like, you can also there on the portal see the criteria which, Greg, us, the county, can only review through the regulatory framework that we have. So there may be some things that refer to decisions that are made by other government entities that are not our decision to make. All we can do is evaluate the application versus the criteria that we have to look at. So that's the only other point. I don't want to take more time on the agenda, but we can absolutely make sure that you have that information about where to get more details, all the documents associated with the case, and what the next steps are.
Okay, so, and just so you guys know, if you say that you oppose this, it doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is you send me an email, you send me a letter, so I can put it in the record, because I'm not gonna paraphrase what someone said. I want a piece of paper that I can basically give to the hearing examiner, and then I'll have your email so I can send you a copy of the decision. Because otherwise, we won't have any record, you'll say, that's not what I meant, or I didn't oppose it for this reason, so just send me an email or send me a letter, and then we will send you back, and then I keep a big mailing list of all the parties of record, and then when it comes time, I will send you a copy of the notice of public hearing, and I will send you a copy of the staff report.
I think that was part of the confusing thing, is that in David Johnson's first email to the few houses around, it said that there was an absolute cutoff for comment period, and if you didn't comment, you wouldn't be invited to the hearing, which really limited it, and that's why, people put it out there for more people. So you're saying that you will take those, and everybody that does put comments in will be invited to that hearing?
Right, because the notice of application gives 14 days to comment, so that's the date that he specified.
Yeah.
I can tell you from doing 150 of these hearings, that I'll accept comments all the way up to the day of the hearing, because it's an open record public hearing. Anybody who provides comments will then be included in the hearing examiner's record.
No, you notice.
So we're just going around in circles again, guys. What we're gonna do is we will put up together a town hall meeting. The only way I can get that information to you though, is if you sign up for our e-blast. We have hit and miss luck with the two clubs sending things out to their membership. And so if you wanna know what we're doing, you gotta sign up for our e-blast. I will get information from Jeremy and get it out to that list so that before that town hall, people can get in, look at the portal, understand what documents there are or aren't, and bring their questions. And we'll get together by the end of the month at one of the two clubs in the auditorium. And I'm gonna end it at that, and we're gonna move on. And I thank you guys for coming.
There's a gray notebook going around. Please put your information on it. Oh, it didn't move. Thank you.
Right in.
Thank you.
We can provide notice any way we want, so if in the future, if I have your email, I'll send it to you and you can distribute it out.
Alright, so, alright, we're gonna continue. Yeah, if you guys. Yeah, the red light's on, right? Anyway, we're gonna alter the flow of things here so that Tam and Melissa can get out of here for quotas at 4:15. So we're gonna move up to the policy and procedure manual, wherever that is on here, from the admin committee of number 4C4. So Tam, if you're with Tam. Oh, there she is.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Tammy McDermott. I'm the chair of the administration committee for the village council. We, on a regular basis, look over all of our legal documents, those being our articles of incorporation, which explains who we are, and the bylaws, which explain how we do it, or what we do, excuse me, and then the policies and procedures are how we do it. And those are what we're talking about today, the policies and procedures. The bylaws went through a considerable review this last year, and the board approved the changes in May of last year. Then in September of last year, we also presented what we had done on the policies and procedures up to that point, knowing that we still had much more that we needed to do, but we wanted to get something to you so you could see what direction we were taking. Those were approved in September. What you have before you today is the opportunity to vote to approve the next section of policies and procedures, most of which were discussed with you at length at your workshop, your last workshop. And we were able to answer questions and cover some information. You all helped us do a priority list of what we have remaining, which we call the parking lot. And that really helped us. We know which direction you want us to go. There's one thing that was added since the workshop, and that is Jeff has that information. It's called section 7.7 under communications, and it relates to branding. Jeff has a piece of paper that just lists that section. Maybe you've been them out, have you all have them? Okay.
Thank you.
So hopefully you look them over, and hopefully if you didn't, you can look them over now. And if you have any questions, basically what this does is gives us an opportunity to make it very clear, any organization that has, that uses our facilities, not that we have facilities, that uses our, how do I say that?
Resources.
Thank you, resources, thank you, that's a good word. Give that man a big fingers up. This is particularly important for committees of the board. And we ask that every committee or those that use our resources indicate on all the flyers, all the communications, all the posters that are put up, digital information that's put out there, that you indicate that we are the sponsored organization, and we give you some choices as to what we want you to put on your flyers or your posters. You can put on the logo, you can put on our website, you can put on our address. Then you can put on the QR code. I have no idea how you do that. Does anybody have any questions about what we are intending to do with this section of the policies and procedures?
Yes, ma'am. I noticed that and this may be a Barry question or a Dave question or somebody question, but I noticed that the donor recognition section was still not populated. And is that coming forth soon?
Have you given us the
Yes.
information?
Gary's nodding his head.
Luke has all that information.
Mr. Garrett question.
Gary, the last thing, you guys were still gonna decide on the the names of those donor levels, but we weren't gonna hold it up for that.
Okay, thank you.
I'm just trying to, and I've got like 4 different emails that all say the same thing,
All right,
and we just have to put that in. I didn't wanna rush that.
not a problem. The names of the tiers are not actually pertinent to what that process is. So you can go ahead and load that in without the change. Thank you. That's-
Okay, we'll make that priority number 1 for what we do next, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought we had something under donor management right now in the policies and procedures.
We have the generic paragraphs that say,
Yes.
acknowledge donors quickly, make sure there's a letter, a follow-up, IRS. So it's a very generic language, but
It's a very generic paragraph that says you should do something nice for people.
Okay.
and now we actually have what you're doing.
Yes, and now
We have the relationship between Colleen managing it with the vice president and president in your center.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, any other questions? Yes.
I noticed in one paragraph, because I'm into consistency, there was still at eldc.org. I was hoping we could change that out to our current.
Do you happen to know the section of that?
No.
I'll just do a Google search, that's easy.
We can do that.
Well, I've got the current document, and I went through last night and changed everything to the same font size and everything. And I'll probably do a little formatting work on that document that's on our shared drive currently.
We spent hours formatting, but go ahead.
Does it have Tam's latest, because Tam went through and standardized fonts and everything?
Not in the version I have. I
And
mean,
it's
like,
like-
some of it's single space, some of it's double space, some of it's 1.5 space.
No, this is not on the website.
No, I'm saying, it's on the internal drive, but I don't think the new version is.
I took the version she
But
emailed
what's
to us
the
3 days
email?
ago.
The version that's dated February the 5th.
Yes, that's the
Fine.
version I have.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so, and I'm gonna go in and like format the headings so that the table of contents auto-populates and that kind of stuff.
So the format includes space and a half, where you're under a major paragraph, but when that paragraph has a listing of many items, we went to single space for room. So if
if you look, you will see that what's there is consistent.
Okay.
Even though, yes, some are space and a half, and other lists are single space.
Okay.
So you can do with that as you wish.
Hey, are you asking us to, make a motion to pass?
Well, if all the questions have been answered, yes.
Very
Jeff, regarding the table of contents, we were gonna come back and drop those in once everything was approved. And we're gonna put a footer at the bottom, a little technical footer about how that's done, so someone else who takes over doing this would have an awareness, because that automatic page numbering can really get screwy if you're not aware how it's turned on.
Okay.
So we were gonna apply page numbers to sections,
Okay.
and then put a footnote that just said, be aware, Word is doing this for you.
Okay.
So it can be fixed.
So I will make sure that the three of you know where this thing lives, and I would ask you to only work on that version.
Yes.
So that I don't make some changes and then I get another hard copy from you guys with comments and everything. And once this document has been approved today, in theory, we're going to address changes on a page-by-page basis going forward. We're not going to ask everybody to review the entire document anymore going forward. It'll be, we're swapping out this text on this page in this document, and that's all we'll have to review and slide into the digital version.
The heavy lift has been complete.
And we thank you for that. That was a huge task.
It's been our pleasure.
And I, for one, fully support you guys taking several months off before working on it anymore. Take a break.
Are there any other questions?
No.
We're ready for the motion.
Then I would entertain that someone make the motion on the floor.
So made.
Second.
Is there any discussion? We've already discussed it. Jeff, I'll let you call for the vote.
I would call for a vote. Those in favor of the motion to adopt the policy and procedures manual dated 2/5/26, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Doesn't that need to include with the addition of the 7.0?
Yes.
Well, it's in there. It's in there.
It's in there.
We just brought it out.
You wanna make sure everybody has seen it as a standalone, but it is in the current document.
Thank you very much.
So it carries us unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks,
And
Sam.
thank you to the committee, Dave McDermott, Barry Luke, and our newest person on board, on the committee, Gary Hammond, who's going to serve as our liaison. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna jump to Lois real quick.
I would be
Very brief.
Did you get a count on the approval of that motion?
Yes, 8-0.
We're starting our activities for after winter season, and our first activity is the community outdoor garage sale or yard sale. And that is on May 23rd, Saturday, 10 to 2. There'll be articles in the Boys the next 3 months, so there'll be more information and on our website, so spread the word. It was a huge success last year, and we're looking to expand it this year. So join us, it's open to the entire community beyond Fort Ludlow. Bring your wares, sell your goods, and we'll have a lot of fun. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, we will get back on track here. We'll go back to the bullet number 3 for the HOA update, starting with Joan Johnston from LMC.
Yes, thank you.
So the microphone's dead.
I'll be down. I'll be down.
Projected gypsies.
A few updates of things that are coming up at LMC on February 7, very soon. Port Townsend Chamber Music Series is going to be performing at the Beach Club. Donations gratefully accepted, and they're going to benefit the Chimicum High School Cowboy Marching Band,
which is going to perform the Independence Day Parade in Washington, D.C. for the 250th anniversary of the country.
Representing the entire state of Washington.
That's right.
They were the only band chosen in the whole
Yes,
state.
yes, that's right.
So our cowboy marching band. So again, that's February 7th at 2 p.m. At the Beach Club. And that's a very nice thing. Wine and cheese on Friday, February 13th from 5 to 7. The Firewise group continues to work on updating and doing inspections to keep our fire hazard low. And that's about it.
Awesome. Thanks, Joan. Carolyn is not here today to give the SBCA update, but she sent me a few items coming up for Bay Club. Tomorrow is the pancake breakfast benefiting the Center Valley Animal Rescue, 8:30 to 10. It's $15. Anybody is welcome. If you're not an SBCA member, see the guy at the front desk, which is me, because you can be my guest and you can come. So if you're interested, great group, obviously, Center Valley Animal Rescue. Part of their speaker series next week on the 12th is it's like part 4 or 5 of their First Nations presentations. The one next week is about Old Patsy's Potlatch of July 4th of 1891, which was the last potlatch for the Scotland people. And it was apparently pretty big. If you haven't been to those, they are really fascinating presentations. David Burnell from the Olympic Museum of History Museum. Fantastic speaker. He nerds out on this stuff, but makes it very relatable. And I mean, you guys have been to them. They're great, right? I mean, he's really good. Those are at 1 o'clock. It's the Thursday at 1 o'clock.
It's on the calendar.
It's on the PLBC calendar, that's right. But that is the 12th, a week from today. And on the 20th, PLPA is doing a benefit concert also for the Jennifer Marching Band. It is, I think, $100 a ticket. It's a fully catered, fully entertained, silent auction, full-on fundraiser gala that is here. Last time I looked, they said tickets were selling fast. I don't know if it's sold out. Do you know more, Gene? Do you know if it's sold out? Gene?
What was the question?
Do you know if the gala is sold, the fundraiser gala here is sold out or close to sold out for the band?
I don't know, I could find out maybe if I could get a message through which I'm
Struggling with? Yeah. And then they have brand new weight machines, which whatever. But the other piece she wanted to pass on is that finally 4 homes have sold up in Olympic Terrace 2 Phase 2 by Richmond American Homes, as well as 1 lot has sold up there. So that's it for SBCA. Moving on to board business. I distributed the minutes from the last meeting, January 6th, 2026, that we need to approve. If anybody has comments, questions, concerns, amendments, otherwise we could, in theory, entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from our January 6th meeting.
7.
Any comments, discussion, questions, concerns? All in favor of approving the minutes of the January 6, 2026 PLBC Board of Directors minutes? Aye. Opposed? Abstained? I'm gonna say that's a non-vote as well. Okay, PLBC Treasurer's Report, that would be Gary, Finance Report, Treasurer's Report, whatever we want to call it. That was also distributed via email.
Yes, it was. You all had it, and it was, I really thought everybody was here for the numbers. So I was a little, surprised in the room, but here we go. Our For January, we started out with $18,084.90 cash on hand. The community contribution was $39.04. Our total PLV expenses for the month were $1,469.51. We do not currently do any events in January, so those expenses that I just mentioned were all operational and mostly regular payments that we have a monthly commitment to. And just so, I brought a few copies if anybody would like this, but you should also, when the minutes are approved, the treasurer's report is included in the minutes on the website, and you can lift my finances off of that, our finances off of that anytime you want. So it's all there. You also note, at this time, I have changed the format for financials, and it actually looks like real stuff now. And off to the side, that's okay, it doesn't real stuff. And off to the far right, you will see a year-to-date accumulation of what those expenses and that income looks like. And I'm happy to tell you now that for next month, we're already at a $2,050 donation level. And we're at, the 5th of February, so February is starting out very, very nicely. I'm very happy about that. Again, you can get these on our website at any time. You just go into the minutes, you can look at the or you can email me at any point in time during the year, and I would be happy to send those to you directly. You can get me at treasurer@portlevelvillagecouncil.org. And at any time you have any questions about how or why or what we do with the money, please feel free to reach out. Also, quickly, the Finance and Fundraising Committee met yesterday. Our charge was to come up with final guidelines for a new fundraising effort. I think most of you know that we rely a lot on donations from the community, and that gets us through. But we sort of want to try to get a little ahead of that and see whether we can be proactive about going out and raising funds. So we are committed to doing a raffle this year. It will be something that for the beginning of it, you will not need to be present to win. We will hand deliver that gift to you once a month if your winning ticket should pop up. However, at the end of the raffle season, which will end in October, those raffle tickets, you'll have to come to the annual meeting, and you'll have to be present to win at the annual meeting. And those are two bigger ticket items that we're giving away in October. So we're looking forward to seeing how this program rolls out. It's I've called it a long run raffle, but Jeff wants something catchier. So we're going to work on that. But the premise behind this is if you buy tickets and you don't win in April, your tickets are still good for May, June, July, August, September. It just keeps rolling along. So your chances are pretty good. The tickets are not going to be that high. I do want, though, to share with the council that I did some research on raffles in the state of Washington that I was asked to do. And I want to share with you some things that we have to pay very, very careful attention to. We do not need a raffle license because we are not expecting to make over $5,000 in income. That would be a stretch at $5 a ticket. So I don't think we're going to get there. We also don't need a raffle license because we're not, one of our prizes is not a firearm. So they have to get a raffle license to give away a gun.
And like with thunder, it's
Just, those little things the law says you can and cannot do. Tickets must be paid for in full by cash, check, or credit card. Tickets cannot be sold over the internet in any way, shape, or form.
Okay.
Tickets cannot be mailed to anyone. They have to be hand delivered. I'm sure this is all about money laundering and not doing things online. It's a supposition on my part. Rules for the raffle have to be printed on each ticket or given as a handout to the purchaser every single time. And yes, Jeff Lang, in Washington State, the same raffle ticket number or person holding multiple tickets can win more than once, provided you have said that at the front in the rules. So I think we've got that covered. We just want to make sure we're compliant so we don't lose our nonprofit status. That's my report. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
If I buy a raffle ticket, do I get a 501c3 deduction?
No, because it's gambling.
So I can just donate instead of buying it?
You can.
Yeah,
we-
the donation,
I'm
thanks,
sorry.
Dan.
There is one other thing, housekeeping, just for the people around this table. Council members may not buy raffle tickets. You are not eligible, neither are your spouses. There are no exceptions to that rule. Yes, sir.
And there's also some other rules about alcohol, if you're
Yes,
dropping that off.
Yeah, you have to, it has to be members of the, we can, oh, and we cannot sell raffle tickets to anyone under 18. That's against the law. So. No, treasures for participation.
And you, okay. I'm gonna jump in and sitting here so patiently. If you want. Marshawn.
So, I know tomorrow, Good Friday. I'm the chair of the Port Ludlow Emergency Committee. This year, we're kind of concentrating on revamping the North Bay block captains. We're going to kind of shift the onus on the individual cul-de-sacs so that we're going to provide the training, but they need to organize their cul-de-sac. And then we're going to facilitate the communication from that area to the command center up to DEM. Because the issues that we're having with block captains and the responsibility, we're not here to help you. We're here to report to the county. We're here to train you. We're here to make sure you have the resources available so you can help yourself. But our goal is to observe and report. So the block captains report to the radio operators report to the county. You are on your own. The Cascadia subduction zone rips. That bridge is going down. There's only 3 ways in and out. Make sure you have at least 30 days of food. We have a lot of that stuff on the website now, the Think, Plan, Do. And then Rick Sherman, he's written a procedure that's pretty in-depth, but it's also written in a way where it can be basic. So the foundation is the communication. So we're out there, we're trying to get the communication from the neighborhoods to the radio operators, find out exactly what we can do. The next phase for that is really serving the community and letting them know where you can donate your time or your service, because we don't know who's going to be here when it happens. So there may be medical people, there may be people that can watch kids or whatever their specialty is, make food, things like that. And so the church, the community church up here on the hill, is really going to be the command center of operations. I'm giving a presentation to them here next week, I think it is, to get approval from the board. And we're actually moving the communications gear from here over to the church, because this is at sea level and more than likely there could be a tsunami. So what's the point of having 4 locations when we know the real estate office and the church are above the tsunami level? So we're just not. This would be a backup place for maybe long-term housing, distribution of goods and services, things like that, if the event was more than a few weeks and we really had to start getting that. So that's what we're working on this year. We're trying to get the training put online so that it's all there. You can watch a video if you don't know how to use a GRMS 3 or something. You can go click on the video, it'll show you how to do it, that sort of thing. So that's kind of our plan.
Yeah, Jason, so when you say the church, which church are you speaking
Port
to?
Ludlow Community Church.
Yeah, the one right next to Caldwell Banker and all that on that same hill.
Okay, just because there's more than one church.
Yeah, the other one's by the water, so I didn't know the names, I didn't know.
Well, the convention center was the church that now is moved in. Okay, anyway, thank you.
But yeah. Any questions or anything? That's just okay. Go ahead.
I'm Alan Kingsler from North Bay. Okay, you need to get with me about the North Bay block captains. I've got a whole bunch of other info on where they're needed. We already did that 3 years ago.
Oh, outstanding. I don't want to redo it, so if you have any.
Yeah, I have a bunch of things on that, and I'd be happy to share it with you.
Okay, good.
Thanks, Jason. Thanks, Jason. Go Seahawks.
Okay, back to the top of the list of committee reports. I'm going to turn it over to Colleen for the Port Ludlow Ludlow Connects update, as they are starting to get the ball really rolling.
I have to say, this group has total excitement, and they are coming up with a new logo. It used to be called Opportunity Fair. It is now called Community Connect, Ludlow Connect. And so the logo is going to be absolutely wonderful. We're working on it. This is dealing with getting the community together at South Bay to show, to let people coming in, hopefully most of the new persons moving into Fort Ludlow, giving them an opportunity to find out what our community has for these new people as well as the existing community itself. So volunteers are gratefully needed. Thank you very much for volunteering. It is going to be held on 8/28, and it is in the afternoon, I believe from 3 to 5. And there is food, music. The transportation will go from the beach club once again by van to the Bay Club, so that the parking lot out front is not inundated with just one person driving vehicles. We will have sponsorships, hopefully of persons who have already attended in the past, which would have been Club Banker, Active Life, or Ludlow Brokers, etc. The future meetings for these items are on a fourth Thursday of the month at the Beach Club.
It's on the calendar.
It's on the calendar. Come join in, find out what you can help out with, and it is exciting times.
Perfect, yeah, it is, I went to it 2 years ago. It's a massive event and needs lots and lots of volunteers, so if anybody's got any extra bandwidth, they're a great group to get plugged in with. Awesome, that's nice, great, thanks. We will move on to communications. Communication committee, we shut down the resident survey last night, this morning actually, because I forgot. We had a little over a year ago, we had 64 responses. This year we got 219 responses.
Out of how many?
Out of the population of 3,000-ish. Well, I mean,
Well,
it's
there's
1,800 homes.
1,800 homes.
So, you know,
What kind of threats did you level in order to get that return?
well, you know what we did? Well, two things, I think. We actually got the 2 clubs to put a blast out for us. And we randomly picked 3 people to get a $50 gift card to the local restaurant.
Yeah.
And I picked those today. You gotta bribe them, right?
Right? Whatever works.
I picked the 3 people today using a random number generator. I've emailed them, I haven't heard back yet if we can share their names or not, so I'm not gonna say who won, but we do have 3 winners. We will pull that information into some sort of meaningful summary for the board. A lot of it are just pie charts, those are easy, but we did give people an opportunity to leave their email if they wanted to volunteer. And I would say we picked up 20-ish people there.
That's great.
We've picked up 25 new subscribers to our D-Blast out of this effort. A number of people had suggestions about what we should and shouldn't be doing. Like somebody told us we shouldn't be sharing all these events because the voice already does that and we're stepping on their toes. And so I'll reach out to them and make sure that's not the case. So what I'd like to come up with is a list of maybe the top 10 things that people think we should be doing or they appreciate that we're doing. get volunteers connected with various, committees, because some people, like 2 or 3 people said, I wanna work on the opportunity fair, or I wanna work on the garage sale, or I wanna help with the canines, or, somebody wants to join our communications committee. Just, so we'll get all those people connected, and, anyway, I think it was a massive success compared to 14 months ago when we tried this. We're still working on building out the club pages on our website. We're trying to have a page that has all the local groups, clubs, classes, organizations, everything Port Ludlow that people, you know, the photography club or the fly fishers or the garden club or Tai Chi or whatever. That's going slower than I wanted to go. We're not getting to the right people, I guess, or maybe they don't need help advertising, I don't know. But it's a slow road. So, if you are involved in a club and you want people to know about you, my initial vision was giving a space on the web for groups that don't have their own web space, they don't have their own mail lists, and just giving them a chance to get their word out. But I mean, we'll advertise for anybody who's in Port Ludlow, as far as I'm concerned. So, if you know anybody, I still haven't given up on the Port Ludlow Connects sharing with me their contacts for the 60 groups that are coming to Port Ludlow Connects.
Have you called for clubs to provide information?
I've put it out in e-blast, it's on the webpage, I don't want to reach out to every single club individually is what I'm trying to, and I'm trying to not reinvent the wheel, because I know that Port Ludlow Connects has 60 groups coming, and they've got all that contact information already.
Well, I guess I need to wake up. Fly fishers do have a brochure.
Yeah, I would love to get that out there. Yeah, I'll send you a gentle reminder. The other thing, Tracy's been working on a generic business card that we're going to hopefully get printed in the next few weeks, I hope. I got online and looked at just Vistaprint as a bulk. You can get 1,000 business cards for $40 there, so I don't think we need a motion to pay for something like that, or did we have it in the budget?
Well, we can fold that into office supplies, there's a budget line item for that, so we can absolutely do that. Are you going to have that printed and then submit, or do you want me to have it printed? Okay, fine, and then just submit it with reimbursement, please.
Okay.
So if, speaking to the people around the table, if you have not looked at the design, look at it, and let's make a decision to move.
I liked it, I thought it was a good job, and I assume that the QR code there just takes you right to our website, so I loved it, I think it was great, and it gives you enough information on the back without getting specific about when we're meeting and where we're meeting, and it helps me because I can't remember where we're meeting. So I love that fact that we meet here, even when we meet here, is that we like to remember that. So I like it.
Then the only other thing I have for communication is that I've started including some updates on local restaurants in our e-blast specials that they've got coming up or whatever. Again, I've reached out to everybody and only heard back from a couple, so Howard and I are gonna go talk to the ones in the village probably tomorrow, maybe Saturday. And then I wanna expand the rings of that and start including all the local businesses. So that's where communications is at.
Yep. Before we get past the cards, Tracy, the only comment, and I hadn't thought of it too, but when this shrinks down, all the lineage we have underneath, when it shrinks down to the card, it's gonna get pretty small.
Actually, I increased the font size on the master card, which is the.
Yeah, if you look at it online, it's actually the card size and it all fits.
Okay, well that's the only, I'm not gonna, and we can always make changes, but the idea of having a card that when we go out, that we can hand someone in. And what wasn't mentioned is, anybody who wants to contact the LDC will do it through the info at Ludlow Village Council.org, and then Jeff can route it wherever it comes.
Yeah,
And we don't end up with emails going all over the place. One of the things we're trying to create in our structures is to be able to keep a record of everything that gets passed on to the next person who takes that position, whatever that position is. So
if there's any other feedback, send it to Tracy or send it to the group, maybe do it as a group conversation, just so we all see what's going on. That's it for communications. We've already done administration. So Howard, do you want to do as our trails liaison a quick update of what they talked about this week?
Sure. Well, first of all, we've had storm after storm after storm, and I can't say enough good things about the Trails Committee and the way Larry Scott runs it. But essentially, for those who don't know, there's a steward for every trail. They walk the trails on a regular basis, whether it be twice a week, whatever it is. And after the last storm, let's just say one trail, a springboard trail, had 6 or 7, 8 trees crossing over. How it works is, somebody takes a picture, they put together a work party, and the next day or two, they all show up and clear the trail. Sometimes the tree gets pushed to the side for the time being. So that's what they've been doing. They've been finishing up, putting signage up. There's almost 60 bird houses that they maintain and build and take down every year, recondition and put that out, which I had no idea. So I mean, every time I go to one of the meetings, I learn something new. And the other thing is that the trails map, the $7,500 that they got through the lodging tax, which is a huge deal. They'll be able to print 30,000 copies. We approved the final of it, and the changes that are being made, they're color coding all of the trails and all of the cut throughs to trails. The last map, which we used when we first got here, we got lost. And it was probably us, not the trail. But in any event, so that's the types of things that they're doing. There's not many new trails to do. It's mostly maintenance and such. And that's, I think, enough for that report. I'm just doing it for my brain cells.
No, that's perfect.
I have an answer to your question. I was unable to send a text. I tried several times. I was able to make a phone call, however. There are tickets remaining for the gala. They are $100 for the dinner and the show.
Thank you.
They had to raise. They need to raise over $100,000 to send back to DC.
They raised over
They need to.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's correct.
They
Yeah.
basically are right there.
Are they close?
Yes.
Oh, they're probably over by this point.
That is so
so
awesome.
that's amazing.
So one of the other things that they're going to purchase, the uniforms that the band is currently wearing are very heavy wool for marching outdoors and inclement weather,
Right.
which is not what they expect in Washington DC on the 4th of July. So
It's
part of
probably
that,
not even nasty.
right, so part of that budget is new, and these uniforms have been passed down
Right.
for many, many years and repaired. And if you take a close look at them, they're all stitched and, anyway, it's very charming.
I love the fact that they're actually sort of getting a kick of resurgence and some very nice recognition.
It's a wonderful opportunity for these kids.
And a wonderful honor.
Yes.
I mean, that's,
Tremendous honor.
you know.
So probably when they get done, it'll be about 125,000. They will have raised enough for the new summer uniforms and all sorts of good stuff.
Yay, go Cowboys.
We have an alumni.
Okay, we have 2 quick motions to get through. We need to formally make Colleen the board liaison for Ludlow Connects because we didn't, even though she's been doing that, it's not been formalized, and because they are a committee, it should be formalized, so if somebody would love to.
Motion made.
Carol, thank you.
On any discussion? Questions, concerns, comments? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? And the second motion is to add Gary Hammond as the board liaison for the administration committee. So moved by Carol.
Second. Second by Chris.
Who's the first?
Chris. Carol was the first. Carol.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Awesome. Okay, and then the other thing, and this is really just, I think, more of a heads up, there's continued requests to move our workshop times, instead of being a 3 to 5, be from 1 to 3. We're not gonna change these meetings because it's more accessible to the public.
So this is just workshop. And
This is just the
Yeah,
workshop.
if we in fact change it and we agree to do this, does that apply to the next workshop here in February?
I hope so. And, you know, somewhat depend on room availability.
Right.
You can skip the way.
Okay.
And I don't think we need to do that formally, but if there's any discussion around it, we should have it now, because otherwise I'm going to change it.
Well, just for the record, I'm not in favor of that, but you know that, so.
6 to 1, we'll say. Okay, let me make sure I'm still streaming before you get up. Yes, we are. Okay. Audience comments? Oh, here you go.
Dan first.
Dan first.
I'm unclear, where is the cell tower being proposed?
So the cell tower is on Swansonville and Fleet, so it's right across from the LMC RV storage lot. It's close to the Welcome Report Ludlow big wooden sign, it's across the road from that, right? Is that-
It's just outside the master
It's-
plan
it-
resort.
It's an interesting piece of property in that the driveway is on Fleet Drive, which is inside the MDR, but the property itself is outside the MDR. So it's a 300-foot driveway that goes between two houses to a 6.5-ish acre parcel that shares backyards with all the people who live on Fleet Drive, who are LMC residents and NPR residents. But the tower itself is, and I'm guessing that's not a coincidence, the tower itself is just outside of the MDR.
Jeff, you know, we don't want to reinvent this conversation, but are they putting in a big tree, a fake tree, do you know?
I don't know.
You're gonna also put in a big fake tree.
It's a 150-foot tall tower, which is reasonably large as far as cell tower standards
It
go.
won't affect me, so I don't care.
And it's going to happen.
Like his card, you can ask that question.
It's a process, Mary.
As a South Bay resident, I'm incredibly concerned.
According to the online thing that he was talking about, if you go in and look, they are not going to put up a tree.
That's not a tree.
Because they already think they have enough trees.
Okay.
I imagine this will be one of the big tall ones with the,
Yeah.
what was that on top? And Verizon's putting it in, but there's, like you said, there's requirements for them to allow other. I would love to have cell reception at my home, which this would provide, because I get 0 as it is.
You get some reception now.
Zero. I can't even make a phone call from home.
I would want this.
Does that answer your question? I'm gonna go, let's go here. Linda, yes.
I'm questioning whether all these people that were here today were supposed to be speaking to you or the county council. Because when we used to have issues in King County, we go to the county council, we don't come to you guys.
They heard that this guy from DCD
This
was,
guy didn't know what he was talking about, because I asked him, and he said, I don't know. He doesn't know, but you should go.
He is new
you should
to
go
this
to
position.
somewhere else.
he's the new director. I had no idea all these people were coming today. And a couple of people said, is this the meeting for the cell tower? I said, no, this is the village council, and they left.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel bad, and that's why I said something when they were like, you told us this wasn't about that. I'm like, no, that was me. 'Cause I didn't know
I
about
heard
this.
there was a separate meeting, so, I mean, I was just gonna come to your board meeting, so it was a surprise to me, see all this.
It was a surprise to us as well.
Okay.
So I don't, somebody called, us at home and asked me about the cell tower meeting, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And-
Well, I would find that out before you try to set a town meeting, because it's a waste wasted your guys' time, we
Well,
have no.
Yeah, I don't mind sitting at the town hall where, because we won't really be involved. We're just providing the space, and the county guys can come, and the residents can come, and they can interact however they see fit. I just didn't want to hijack our board meeting.
Well, I wasn't clear on the whole process, because we talked about a hearing, but they already had a hearing. We talked about another public hearing, I didn't understand the timeline, and I didn't understand any of it.
There are different hearings, so there's for the application that they've submitted to install the tower, it requires a hearings examiner, so that's somebody from the state who hears all of the complaints and, understands the application process as pertaining to land use codes and regulations. And there are hearings for the public to come and participate and share feedback and ask questions and complain and whatever it is. So the term hearing it means multiple things.
So he makes the recommendation to the county.
Based on the application that the applicant submits and whether or not it is compliant with county code and land use. That's right.
That's it. That's true.
But still, should these people be going to the county council, not the county?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
This happens at the county level, that's correct.
Yeah, it's a county issue, and I think people come to us sometimes to represent them to the county, but this was not that. This was them wanting to interact directly with the county representatives.
So these people are expecting you guys to go to the county, is that what I'm hearing?
No. I will tell you that I do go to county, I go to commissioner meetings through the first Monday in Port Townsend, I go every first Monday. I'm not going to absolutely represent anybody other than just be there to learn and observe, and I want them to know that the PLBC is in the room, and should they have questions for us, they can ask questions. But I'm not there mouthpiecing for anybody.
Dave, go ahead.
This is not the first time an issue of this nature has been brought forward to the Ludlow Village Council. We've had several of these issues. Normally, the Ludlow Village Council only addresses issues that are within the master plan resort, and this parcel is obviously outside the master plan resort, but it has an effect on the community. So the council's response to initiate a town hall meeting for the benefit of the community is a perfect response. You don't have to take a position, you can if you wish. There are certain questions that weren't asked and answered that need to come forward at that town hall meeting. We listen to this hearing examiner, we'll make a decision. Now, I kind of thought that was a county hearing examiner, and now I hear it's state. One of the questions I think the council should be interested in is what approvals above that level need to be made. There seems to be a big concern about the radio frequency issue, which they say, not their business, that the feds took care of that. Community needs to know if there's somebody at that level they can appeal to. They seem pretty charged. But the council's response, your response, to initiate a town hall is exactly what the council is here to do, facilitate things of that nature for the benefit of the community. Yeah. So, well done. It'll be interesting to see how full the auditorium gets.
I'm guessing there will be some people there, which is great. I mean, that's the whole point. We're here to facilitate conversation.
I don't live a quarter mile from there, and I get perfect cell reception. I don't hear it, but I don't care.
I want to gather somewhere.
If you want a packed meeting, you have to have an issue that people are angry about.
That's right.
And they will show up.
That's true.
Otherwise, it's all crickets.
Yeah.
Okay, it's your turn now.
Okay, and first off, I want to say, thank you all for volunteering. Okay, there are not enough of you, okay? And really, it's a lot of time you have to spend doing things, listening, and working hard. So I have to say I appreciate that. And what I'm hoping to do is add more to your plates. Okay, just what you want. Okay. Okay, again, tying right into what Dave just said is, the village council really has a long history of championing causes for the master plan resort. I don't think any of you were here then, but the village council fought very hard to stop a timeshare development here, okay? They stopped the logging, okay? They got the speed limit changed. It took us from 2016 to 21, but we reduced the speed limit, changed the four-way stop so it wasn't a free right turn and things like that. And also questioned Olympic Water and Sewer on their water rate increases. I'm here today to talk to you about everybody here on sewer? Okay, you all got that little surcharge notice, okay? And I've done a lot of digging into that. And when you go home tonight, you're going to get a missive from Jeff. He's going to send it out to you, okay? With my digging, we'll just say this. Olympic Water and Sewer is known since 2013 that this plant had to be increased. It was set at 640,000 gallons. Okay, because it wasn't set right, the Department of Ecology cut it down to 320,000 gallons in 2013.
That's per day, right?
Yes,
That's per day.
per day. Olympic Water and Sewer did nothing about that. In about 2021, they sort of had a feasibility study done, and it turned out to be about $15 million to do everything. So they broke it up into phases, and they talked to us about that in November, the town hall meeting. So phase one is to increase it back up to the 640,000 gallons. That's what the surcharge is about. I'm not going to go into the details, so if you get bored or have trouble sleeping, when you get that, okay? But everything in here, I am willing to back up with facts, okay? I've quoted right from DOE. What I'm asking the board to do is have a utilities committee meeting. We haven't had one, I think, at least for 9 months. Okay, I'm part of the utilities committee. We have a meeting, let's let the utilities committee challenge my facts, encourage the facts, or whatever. If they agree, I would like, perfect thing, because it affects almost everybody in the MPR, have a town hall on it, okay? Because it's a lot more serious than we think. Not only the gallons per day, but the nitrogen we're polluting the bay with. If the state reduces that level, it could cause a building moratorium here. Nothing could be built until that plant is increased. But that's not part of your surcharge. That's another $3.5 million they're going to add on to that. Okay, I won't go into the details, but what I'm asking you to do is read what I wrote, and hopefully, if you guys agree, let's have a utilities committee meeting, go over the facts and decide if it doesn't generate enough for a town hall. That's all I'm asking, so I thank you.
Thank you, Alan. So, as Alan said, it's in my inbox. I told him I would send it after he had a chance to speak. We'll get that out to everybody and maybe get with Chris and talk about getting this.
Who's on our utilities committee at the moment?
I'm it right now. Mr. Chair, I recognize you from SBCA. We've gone over this. I'm sympathetic. I'm a sympathetic here. I'm an engineer.
Okay, so I have one other thing that you need to know. I'm not on sewer. Okay?
Thanks a lot. Then why do you care?
Okay, because
we're all coming to your house from the sewer. We're gonna fill your septic system.
If you think the cell tower's gonna ruin your property value?
Yeah, right.
Ask me how it's going to look when you've got a porta potty at the end of your driveway. That's why Alan is concerned, for the benefit of this community. And he has been for years.
Longer than any of
I got here in 2014, and then the next year, they clear cut the area in front of me, and PLA clear cut 35 acres next to me. I was the one who was most affected. That's what even got me started in this whole community thing. And it turns out I'm pretty good at research, which I never knew, okay? You'll see when you read it, because I quote from the Department of Ecology, I've gone all sorts of different things. Okay, we need to end this so we can get home and have a drink.
Just one.
Jim, before you adjourn, can I?
Hold on, Carol's got it.
Well, the reason I asked the question is, it sounds like if we're gonna take on a project like this, we may need additional people for that committee.
Yeah, for sure,
I think the board
Thank you, Carol.
we've got a list of former utilities committee people that we'll probably reach out to. Dave gave me some names, certainly.
Was his name on it?
I don't know if he still wants to do anything. Alan may have some ideas about people we can include. But like Alan said, this is something we're gonna have a conversation about, decide whether or not it's worthy of a town hall. And if it is, then decide what, if anything, we want to tackle as a board, based on the recommendations of the utility committee.
Okay, one thing I didn't include is we have some directions we can take, okay? But I'm not willing to necessarily share all those until you make some other decisions.
And my concern with any of these town halls, based on what we saw here today, I don't want to turn a town hall into a witch hunt, right? It's gotta be a conversation, it's gotta be a dialogue, it's gotta be fact-based, it's gotta be simple. And it's got to have some parameters around it, some boundaries around it. And you know, the people that were here today for the cell tower obviously feel like they have been left out of the conversation, which people don't like. And if we bring a town hall, I mean, we will bring a town hall for that, but if we bring a town hall for this, I wanna make sure that we've got all the right people there, and that everybody has access to it, and we don't end up with a group like the ones that were here today who feel like they've been left out on a conversation, on a decision that impacts them. Right, and if that's the best thing we can do, in my mind, as a council, is make sure everybody's at the table and has a voice, right? So.
That's democracy. Before you adjourn, everybody in this room, I have a creative request of everybody here. We have two things that we need to name. We broke our donors' tiers into 3 different tiers. We defined them, we know what those tiers look like, we have no idea what we're going to call them. So I'd rather do something other than diamond, gold, silver. I'd like to do something creative, actually suggestive of where we live, where we play. So think of it, treasurer at LudlowVillageCouncil.org, and also, I just said, Jeff would like for us to take this raffle and give it a real catchy name. So, if we use your idea, and that includes anybody in the room, cup of coffee's on me, cup of coffee, maybe a pastry. So, get your thinking caps on, get creative, and send me those ideas, please.
Okay, Joan, I would entertain.
I move that we adjourn.
Make it so.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Is that a yes? Did we vote? Okay.
Thank you all for being here.
Thanks for staying.
Oh, yeah, you are. This is
I know that. I'm disappointed. I want to be.
All year long.
Well,
Well, I know that, yeah,